Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is June the 15th, 2022, and it's Wednesday. So it's hump day. Okay, so this is sort of my rest day. I've kind of kind of engineered my life so that on Wednesdays I have mornings and then I have rest. So it's been wonderful. I'm loving it. And you will notice that I do have a little bit of a scratchy voice and coughing fits. So occasionally I'm going to mute my microphone while I cough and then I'll be back. It's just one of those summer colds, allergies, whatever, and everything's okay. Now then. Okay, I'm still we will get through this. Okay, it'll calm. It calms down. It comes and goes. Okay, so I'm still freaking out over this whole Amber Heard thing, right? It is it's horrible. I'm not even going to say it's bad. It's horrible to listen to her. In the Savannah Guthrie interview, we've had a couple of days where we've gotten little tidbits, snippets of what she's saying. And I just want to point out the obvious. She's saying what she said in the op-ed. She literally repeated what she said in the op-ed that was in the Washington Post that she just got sued for, that she just destroyed her career over. And in this sit down with Savannah Guthrie, Savannah says something to her about freedom of speech. And out of nowhere, Amber, in this bizarro, weird world of I'm Amber and you guys are all randos, you're beneath me. I'm so much more important than you are. Excuse me. Really, if people are coming in and out of the door, I can't do this. It's like distracting. It's like really distracting. The disdain that comes from her in that one interaction that we've all seen, where she's treating an assistant like dirt, less than human. This air of superiority that we see from her, even coming in and out of the courthouse, compared to Johnny Depp, who just never forgot that he was this kid from Kentucky. That's it. He's just this kid from Kentucky that somehow stumbled into the perfect blend of his ability for imagination and the demands of the job. People that experience that gift in life, those are the people that find it. Those are the people that make life worthwhile. It's not about that there's a perfect job. There's not about that there's a perfect house or a perfect location or a perfect wife or a perfect husband. It's about the match between you and your special skills or your personality, the physiology of the way that your brain processes information, the match to the perfect environment for you to express yourself. And whether that perfect environment is a work environment or whether we're talking about developing a really healthy and happy marriage, you're not marrying the perfect person. You're marrying the person whose own personality and experiences are such a great complement for your own personality and experiences. And for Johnny Depp, he wasn't born into this world, or he doesn't believe that he was born into this world being special, magical, the best of the best. That concept never got to him. I don't even think it's with him now. He came into the world born just like me and you. He's just a kid born into a regular family. His dad's a civil engineer. I believe he's civil engineer. Mom had problems, and they just did the best they could. And he grew up just knowing I'm not any different. I'm not any better. I don't have any additional worth in humanity than the people that are willing to stand on that line for hours and hours and hours just to see me wave at them. And so he's a really humble person. I think he truly feels blessed. I think he truly looks around himself and go, where did this come from? Like, who am I? I'm not Prince William born into, royalty. Who am I that this happened to me? And like I said, it was just this really beautiful blend between his own experiences, the fact that he was abused as a child, which increased his imagination, his ability to dissociate, take on alternative types of roles. It was just a perfect match between him and the movie industry. And I think specifically being matched with Tim Burton, Disney, Bruckheimer recognizing that, he has a flair for the dramatic in a way that is it's a perfect character for Disney and Tim Burton. And so, and I would argue, I really do wish that he would have pushed more for really deep dramatic roles like Robin Williams did. Robin Williams spent much of his life being funny, but man, when he started to take on those dramatic roles, that's really where you saw, the depth of his talent. So maybe Depp will, he's got this opportunity with the King Louis role. Maybe we'll get to see it. I loved Mort in Shooter, Secret Window, Ninth Gate. Those are such great roles. But so Amber, I listened to her, and this exchange happened about freedom of speech. And see what she said. Well, you can't go into a crowded theater and yell fire. And Savannah Guthrie's looking at her with incredulity in her eyes, and she's saying, you have to be telling the truth. I mean, she doesn't say it. She's like, it has to be true. But Amber then takes on this superior demeanor, and she says, it means that you can speak truth to power. And that's what I did. I stood up to a powerful man and spoke my truth. She literally took what was in the op-ed, what was posted in what was printed in the Washington Post, and verbally spoke it. And you're thinking, girl, are you aware that you have been ordered to pay, what would have been $15 million because you said exactly what you just said? You defamed Johnny Depp. You defamed him. You said things about him with the intent of destroying his reputation and, more specifically, his ability to continue his career. You intentionally tried to destroy his star. That's why, Amber, you experienced having to sit in that courtroom, as you said, being humiliated. $15 million, Amber. You know what? He can take those interviews from Savannah Guthrie and he can sue your ass again. Are you aware of that? Has Elaine told you that? Are you paying attention? Now, here's what I think is happening. I think this is exactly like the day that she went for the temporary restraining order. He wasn't going to get away with divorcing her. He wasn't going to get away with dumping her. Nobody dumps Amber. And I think that doing the temporary restraining order, humiliating him, embarrassing him in front of his children, putting out into the world all of his flaws, his weaknesses, to destroy the illusion of the amazing and incredible actor, Johnny Depp. It was all payback. It was all an effort to harm him, which is what malice is. So I think the Savannah Guthrie interview is exactly the same thing as the temporary restraining order. She's pissed. She is very angry that the jury protected Johnny. She is very angry that they pointed the finger at her and they said, "You, lady, you are the abuser, and you are an abuser to the tune of $5 million in punitive damages. You are." And rather than her doing what the majority of us would do, because we're rational, logical, intelligent people, instead of taking her baby and her friends and going to her beautiful house and just living a beautiful life, just living her best life, she decides that she's going to hurt Johnny Depp again. But now she's got more enemies. It's not just Johnny Depp and the people that love him. Now she hates us. Now we all get to be the target of her hate. Starting with the randos, rando number 1, rando number 2, rando number 3. Kate Moss is no rando, Amber. In fact, Kate Moss is everything that you'll never be. She is successful. She has amassed a fortune all on her own 2 feet. She managed fame and fortune with dignity and elegance. She avoided any hint of scandal. You are not even, your level of fame and your level of accomplishment is not even enough to cover the nail polish on Kate Moss's big toe. And you have the audacity to say that she is a rando. So we all get to be hated now. And so the great thing about that is that Johnny Depp is not alone. That's actually a huge part of the equation in overcoming trauma and abuse. When somebody is wronged or harmed, feeling like you've been a target and you're the only one and you don't know how to manage the pain, that can be a big part of trying to make sense of what's happened to you so that you can move forward. But knowing that you're not alone, knowing that there's other people that have experienced what you've experienced, that can make all the difference between healing and moving forward. And so once again, this vicious, sociopathic type of woman, as she lashes out in anger and hate, with the express goal being harm Johnny Depp, embarrass Johnny Depp, destroy Johnny Depp. As she lashes out in hate, vengeance, she inadvertently gives him what he needs for healing. So she inadvertently caused a landslide of emotion. People that believed in him and stood up with signs that said, "We love you, Johnny Depp. We believe in you, Johnny Depp." His old girlfriends, wife, children, friends, co-stars, they all came out of the woodwork and said, "Oh, no. Johnny Depp is a gentle soul. Whatever this woman is describing, whoever she's talking about, it is not Johnny Depp. That I was with him for 11 years, or I was with him for 4 years, or I was with him here, there, at the other." No, he is not aggressive. He is not mean. There is even a video on YouTube that shows Johnny Depp. He has found a bat, like a baby bat. And obviously it was dying, and he's feeding it fruit, trying to see if he can help it and maybe try to get it back going. That is a empathetic, loving soul that would stop and say, "Oh, look, that fruit bat is dying. Let me hold it in my arms and give it warmth and comfort and see if I can get it to eat." That's an empathetic person, right? But we don't see that kind of behavior from Amber. In fact, we have a video of her friends talking to her sister, saying, "Wow, she really got you this time, didn't she? She had bruises on her chest and on her neck and on her arm." That's Amber for you. How is it possible that Johnny Depp goes 40-something years, nearly 50 years, not getting involved in opiates when all of Hollywood was abusing opiates? Remember Tyler Perry? Remember all that? Johnny Depp didn't get involved in that. But magically, when he begins to be friends with Amber Heard and her father and mother, who we know they did what? Oh, they like to use pain pills. Now Johnny Depp's using them. Now he's addicted to them. Before they even got married, how? She tells a story, their engagement party, Johnny Depp and her father leave to go secure pills. He'd never had that problem before. In fact, everyone said, no. He doesn't do, he likes alcohol and weed. It's very curious. So what I thought that I wanted to do a little bit with this time that we have waiting for Friday and the big dinosaur size shit show that we're going to watch with Savannah Guthrie. I'm telling you, Savannah Guthrie should get an Emmy for this. It's that bad. I mean, she held Amber's feet to the fire. I'm really proud of Savannah Guthrie. Anyway, so I thought maybe we would just go back through, for those of you that are interested, that we would go back through some of the trial footage and just see what stands out as, does this seem credible? Or does this look like a woman who may not be telling the truth? Or is what she's saying self-serving? Or is what she's saying intentionally abusive and humiliating to Johnny Depp? Did she use the courtroom, her direct testimony? Was it actually used to pour salt in the wound? All right, so that is what I would like to do. And I see you guys. Hi, Allie Ross. Welcome. Hey, Anonymous No Name and Critters. Welcome, my friend. Fancy Nancy, Mandy, Caldonia, Judy Burgess. Welcome. Hi, Ellen Orion. Welcome. Rando people. We're not that important, Eleanor. I'm I am going to claim rando status. I am damn proud to be a rando. If you yourself are proud of being a rando, put the number 31. If you're proud to be a rando, put 31 into the comments. Unless the randos of the world should unite. Pathological, narcissistic people do not miss you, the person, because they did not really know you. There you go. All right. Nobody is proud to be a rando? Oh my God. I'm so proud to be a rando. Mandy is proud. Daisy's proud. Fractured Fairy Tales is happy to be a rando. McMilky Clown, welcome. Okay, so randos of the world, you guys, we are in good company. Yeah, we need a T-shirt that says "Proud to be a rando." Okay. Hi, AD. How are you? Thank you so much. Day 4, Alan Wade. Yeah. Highly credentialed experience testifying about adolescent development, trauma. It's intellectually fascinating. I will, AB. I didn't even know Alan Wade. So that was I think I saw something. They're doing the sentencing phase, right? Because I wondered when I saw it, I thought, why did we not know about that? So I will actually, when we get done today, I'll go ahead and start watching and try to cover some of that. Thanks for the suggestion, AB. Okay. Hi, Maura. Welcome. Good to see you. Okay. So, hey, Callie. So, and Cerisia, see, we could do this all day long. I'm going to quit. No more roll call. Okay. So let's go ahead and see what in the world this woman... what did she use the stand for? What was this really about the charges, or did she, instead of defending herself, did she take the opportunity to inflict further abuse and humiliation on her target?
And lack of foundation.
I don't understand what the objection
Elaine.
is. I think she was just explaining the context there. I don't think she was saying.
Well, because the foundation, how she knew. It's fine.
How did you know that?
I was involved in the conversations
Please
with the doctors and with his sister.
Objection, Your Honor, that's still hearsay.
Okay.
All right, I'll
Okay,
sustain the
that
objection.
part is. So what happened next? As a result of these communications, without saying what the communications were?
A nurse came to Boston where Johnny was. I just would come for short periods of time in between, on weekends from filming until I wrapped.
Okay. Now, one thing that I'm struck by as I watched this testimony related to the pills and the precursor to them going to the island. He's in Boston filming Black Mass. I would challenge any of you guys to watch Black Mass and tell me this is a man who's experiencing cognitive decline. He looks really good and his acting is super. Now, was he using pain pills? We're told that's true because that's why they were supposedly at the island after the culmination of filming. But the nurses said that Dr. Kipper did not want Amber on the island, that they wanted Johnny in a place that was calm, that he could be healthy. And you've got, with pain medication, you've got so the symptoms, the actual physical withdrawal symptoms culminate or get the highest, they get the worst, they peak at between 3 and 4 days, within reason. But for what he was taking, it would have been 3, 4, maybe 5 days. It does not stay at the peak very long. And then by the time you get to about day 4, 5, or 6, then the symptoms are going back down again to a manageable level. So by the time you get to around day 7 or 8, you're pretty good. You're no longer in that acute kind of I'm a medical patient that needs some support. So somebody needs to be there with me to help me, because and really what it's like somebody's just got a really bad stomach bug, right? Now, there's also a great deal of real emotional turmoil. One of the reasons that people use pain medication improperly is because it does increase dopamine and serotonin, and it makes them feel very good. So it just makes sense that when now you don't have that artificial substance that's increasing your dopamine and serotonin, when that is withdrawn, not only are you going to have the physiological withdrawals, which is the nausea and vomiting and whatnot, but you also begin to experience deep, profound grief and depression. And so at that point, then they begin to introduce medications like antidepressants and some antipsychotics, not because you're psychotic, but because they're trying to manipulate the neurotransmitters to get him to a normal level. It takes a little while for the body to adjust. And you don't want to overdo it when they're still using the pain pills, because you can create something called serotonin syndrome, which is life-threatening. So it's a balancing act, and it takes several weeks. And in the midst, once the acute phase of the nausea and the vomiting and whatnot, once that has resolved, which is about day 5 or 6, it really doesn't last that long. Once that resolves, that's when you're going to be really aware of the emotional turmoil and the emotional difficulty. And so now, as they're introducing the antidepressants and the medications, you're also wanting to engage them in activity that's going to cause the body to naturally increase its own dopamine and serotonin and whatnot. And that would include just everyday life things like exposure to sunshine, taking a walk on the beach, taking a hot bath, holding ice cubes in your hands, eating dark chocolate, even having an orgasm will raise, dopamine and serotonin. So it's a balancing act. It's a science all of its own. There are medical doctors, neurologists that specialize in the withdrawal syndrome and moving people physically from their state of addiction and dependence to getting them off of the fake opioids and getting them back to being comfortable with their natural, endorphins. And actually marijuana can have a huge role in this process on a couple of different levels. So it's a delicate and highly scientific endeavor to get these people through this difficult phase and do it in a way that's very healthy. And having an amber involved is not optimal, if you know what I mean. I think it was the amber that created this situation that he even started using and became dependent on this particular, substance in the first place. She was overwhelming. She was draining him. He had never encountered anything like this. He didn't know how to respond. So she demanded that she go to the island. And so when I listened to her in this next few minutes of testimony, and she starts saying that when Johnny Depp is in Boston, he's filming Black Mass, and she was there, and she didn't know what to do because he became somebody that she didn't know, that they were maintaining him on his current dose so that he would be normal, he wouldn't be in withdrawals, and he wouldn't be intoxicated, that he would be on his normal opiate dose until he could finish filming, and then they would go to the island. She claims that he lied to them and they were giving him double his normal dose. Well, that's bullshit, Amber. You're a liar. And any medical person that has worked in this particular specialty will tell you that it's a lie. And here's why. Because they can test your urine and they can see what the level of buildup of opiate is. So Dr. Kipper knew how much he had. Dr. Kipper could watch the levels of opiates that were in his system, if it was rising or if it was falling, how much of it was medication from 4 days ago and how much of it was medication that was taken 8 hours ago. So that's false. She's lying. I'm going to say it. Take me to court if you want to, Amber. You're lying because that's not how the medication and the testing works. They knew what he was taking. They knew what he needed. Also, what she's describing that she's seeing, that she's claiming is the result of him taking double his dose. And that is that all of a sudden he began crying a lot, that he was weeping and he was crying. And this was something new that she had never seen before. That is not the behavior of someone who's being maintained on the proper level of opiate. That is someone who has dramatically reduced their level of opiate. If he was taking double the opiate dose, he would not be crying. He would be on the nod, sleeping, or he would be euphoric, not weeping and crying. So again, she's lying. It's a bald-faced lie. It's a complete lie. When he was in Boston, all the crying, she's claiming that was because he was taking double the dose. No. I think she's describing what she saw him doing on the island when he was in acute withdrawal. That I think she was seeing that 5-day, depression that sets in and is protracted. It can last as long as a year or so. So why the lying then? Why would she make up a lie that was so inconsequential to the point and the factors related to this case? It's another thing for her to shine a spotlight on and say, you think you love Johnny Depp, but let me tell you how bad of a human being he is. Oh, yeah. So he claims he's going to go get clean. He tells me that he's going to go get clean, that he got a token. But then he gets Dr. Kipper, who's going to maintain him on his opiate dose till he can finish filming. And then they're going to go and finish the detox on the island. But really, he lied to Dr. Kipper to get double his dose. And then he was even more messed up than he was before. Well, Amber, shut up, because you're a liar. None of that is logical and it makes no sense. It's scientifically factually false. Kipper would have immediately started testing not only his urine, but his blood as well as his hair. They would know exactly what the level of opiate in his blood system and in his urine is. They chart it. It's a science. It's a chemical science. And Kipper would know. Debbie Lloyd was with him in Boston. She would have been checking his urine every day and going, damn, Johnny, how is it that you've started withdrawal, you've started tapering down, and you've got double the amount of opiate in your urine? How is that? Explain to me how that's happening. Well, when you watch Black Mass, supposedly this guy who's just weeping and he's on the nod all the time, why is his memory working? All the things that we know that opiates do to your neurologically, he seems to be doing just fine. His coordination is great. So what's the point of the lies? Because it's another lie. It's another thing broadcast to the world that would be humiliating to Johnny Depp. It's just more emotional abuse. It's just more manipulation and gaslighting. And it's me and you that are being gaslit. Oh, yeah, he claimed he was going to get off of it, but he lied to get double. It's a lot. It was designed, in my opinion, it was designed to use her access that she had to him by being in the courtroom. She used her access to inflict more abuse on this man. When the camera cuts to him, look at the toll this has taken on him to have to sit and listen to false, absolute lies, and he has to keep his mouth shut. It's very difficult for him to control himself.
My movie, which I did, I think in May, if I am not mistaken. And then I went to Boston and I was there and saw a nurse was flown out to Boston, Debbie Lloyd, and I believe Kipper came out too. And they put Johnny on a bunch of new medications, which they shared with me, told me about.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
But we have to be careful about what other people told you. Okay, but you can testify to what you know. Okay, so what happened then?
I saw his medications change. I know the amount that Johnny told them he was on was so that they could maintain him for the filming, meaning not make a drastic change in the amount of painkillers he was taking. But his behavior, his whole personality changed drastically. He would be speaking to me, and at the time I was staying in Boston with him, having wrapped my movie, and he would, in mid-sentence, mid-word, fall asleep. One time I was sitting across from him, and he would come in and out of sleep, of being awake, or completely what appeared to be asleep while talking to me, and he had a cigarette in his hand, and Johnny constantly smoked, and he just sat the cigarette as he fell asleep while speaking down on his leg. They're hand-rolled cigarettes. They don't stay lit very long, thankfully, but it was things like that, and I didn't understand it, even though I had experience with drug use in my family. I hadn't seen anything like this, and it was so dramatic.
Really? Is that right? Because you said that both of your parents were addicted to heroin.
To figure out with the nurses and doctors what happened, what changed, how we could explain the change and what medications were causing it. I knew there were new medications involved, so I was constantly worried and in communication. And Johnny's behavior got worse and worse, more of this passing out, nodding off, waking up in the middle of the night, screaming, waking up in the middle of the night, sometimes crying. And the emotions would change from one to the next, like by the second. I remember we were on a long weekend when he was filming in Boston, and we went to this like a resort retreat hotel, and he was just bawling. It broke my heart. There was just a lot of changes, and I really didn't know. I felt so bad for him, and I thought maybe it was just what Kipper had introduced into the regime, the medications. But what I found out in that time is that he was taking about double the amount.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Was this
No,
your observation?
I saw it.
Okay, overruled.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, and so she says, I saw it.
Taking about
What did
double
you
the
see?
amount that he told
Like,
them.
You're an
was his
expert on
normal
pills and the milligrams in each
started
pill,
the
because
process
if
with the
it's
doctors. So after a few, it's I think months
Hi,
of
Yin
going,
Yang.
what is wrong, and turning him over when he vomited at night.
I
or
agree,
checking
Snickers.
his pulse. There were all of a sudden when I realized the amount was about double, I realized then he had been lying to them and me about the
I don't know
amount
why
so that he
Camille
could
didn't
get extra high before he
I
had
don't
a
know
detox.
why she didn't
But that
say
I
that
think
that
it
was speculation.
it was such an agonizing few weeks, months. It was so
And-
agonizing. I
and
don't know how
here's
long it
another
lasted, but
question.
I was so concerned for this person, and
This person, really? You distanced him there a little bit, right? Why are you doing that? Why are you distancing? Because it didn't happen? Because you're telling a bald-faced lie? Yeah, so she was concerned for this person. When's the last time you referred to your husband as this person? Like if you're, let's say somebody you love, gets very, very sick. Are you going to say, oh, I was so worried about this person? Yeah, she's lying. I think she experienced these things, and this is how she knows how to describe what she's seeing. But I think she was describing her mom and dad using heroin. That's what I think. So just watch Black Mass. And pay attention to his behavior, his eyes, the way he's speaking. It bears no resemblance to what she's describing here. So I don't know why Camille didn't object for speculation. And then secondly, why is it that when Dr. Kipper is on the stand, why didn't they ask Dr. Kipper if he came to find that Johnny lied about his maintenance dose, and did they have Johnny Depp over medicated in Boston? The rule would have been, I saw somebody's question, I think it was Caldonia. I saw somebody's question that said, do we know that these urine tests occurred? Now, I am going to say it would be a big surprise if I found out that they were not urine testing him once they hired Kipper. That is the standard way to get a baseline for how much is this person taking day to day. And then it is the best way to know if there are other illicit substances. Like, is he also taking some kind of barbiturate or benzodiazepines or whatever? So they want to know as much actual factual objective data, exactly what he's putting in his system. And if Dr. Kipper knows that he's given, I think they said he was taking Roxy's maybe. If they know, if Dr. Kipper, if he says, okay, well, I'm taking Roxy's and I usually take 4 a day. And so he says, okay, we're going to drug test you first of all to see if that matches with what your claims are. And then we're going to continue to test you to make sure that your level of opiate stays the same. What will sometimes happen, a doctor will begin to sort of titrate people down, their dosing down, and then they come in for a check or to get like a prescription, get like a refill or whatever. And they do the urine test and suddenly their opiate level is super duper high. And then they're like, oh my God, like, how did this happen? Well, they're either buying it off the street or they went to another doctor and got an additional prescription. Or sadly, they began to secure heroin from the street because it's easier to get heroin than it is to get a pharmaceutical pain pill. So I'm just going to say, with Dr. Kipper being an expert in addictions and withdrawal, he's got nurses that each one is a nurse is prescribed is assigned to each of them. No, I think that would have been the expected best practices regimen would be these daily tests to make sure not only how much opiate is in their bloodstream, but are there also other psychotropic medications in the system that may enhance the effects of the opiate or interfere with the effects of the opiate. Some medications might interfere with the binding of the opiate that could make them go into withdrawal faster than might otherwise happen. So it's a science. It's a chemistry problem. So I believe in my heart, if what she's saying here is true, I think Elaine or Rotten Bottom would have elicited that information from Dr. Kipper. I think there would have been direct examination with Dr. Kipper that said, did you have trouble with Johnny Depp being compliant with the withdrawal of the opiates? So she is the common factor with this opiate question. She is the common factor. Both before she knew Johnny Depp, she had opiates in her life. And then after meeting Johnny Depp, she had opiates in her life. She's trying to present this situation as if Johnny Depp brought this hell into her life. I would say that given the set of circumstances, I would be more inclined to believe that once he became friends with her father and her father was already using, I think he was influenced by them. That's what I think. Could be wrong. Just a guess. Just my opinion. But again, this is very humiliating to Johnny Depp. It's very humiliating that the world is being told that he's trying to get off of these pain pills and he's lying to get double the pain pills. It also makes Kipper look bad. It also makes Kipper look like he's a dumbass. But really, I don't think I don't think it ever happened. At this very end here where she says, that person, I felt sorry for that person. I think that tells us that tells me I'm right in this is what she's describing as inaccurate. It's not true. I do think he did go through that period of time with a lot of crying and emotional dysregulation. I think that did happen, but I think that was what happened on the island. It wouldn't have happened while he was on a maintenance level. It would not have happened. He would have been more stable and calm and normal on a maintenance level than either in intoxication or in withdrawal. So her story it's not scientifically correct.
He had just been doubling up his meds because he didn't.
So, Michelle, can you pull up 1092, Defendant's Exhibit 1092?
Yeah, exactly, Caldonia. Yeah. And Depp is a good friend with Keith Richard.
I did.
Your Honor, I'm going to move the admission
So
of Defendant's Exhibit 1092.
this isn't a drug that he would have just blindly walked into. I think it came about because of her father.
And can you describe what's depicted here and why you took this picture?
This was during that time when the prescriptions that he was on in the doubling up of the opiates got so bad that he was like this just throughout the day, off and on. And then he would take Adderall and he'd be really animated and ready to go. And then it would be this again. And it was so erratic and it changed so quickly. And I naively now really did not understand what was going on. I deeply cared about this human's well-being.
All right.
And it was very confusing and scary.
So did there come a time then that Mr. Depp went into detox for Roxycontin?
And I don't know why she's saying that it was so scared and she didn't know what
Yes,
to do about it.
When he finished filming, the plan was
Because she herself
detox,
used
that's what we did.
Adderall.
And when was that?
She herself used
that
all
would
these
have
drugs.
been,
Hell, we've
early
got
August
pictures
of
and whatnot where she was high as a
2014, I
kite
believe we
on
left.
opiates.
We were there for, I think, a week to 10 days, 8 through the 18th, more or less.
And we've heard some testimony about this, but can you please describe for the jury what took place during this detox on the Bahama Islands in August 2014?
It was for the first few days, okay. peaceful. The nurse, and then later nurse and doctor were staying on a different part of the island. A few minutes drive.
Hi, Cotty.
by
Welcome.
ATV, like 10, 15 minute,
Exactly,
by,
yin
one
yang,
of those
this
ATV
human.
vehicles.
Yeah, bizarre,
But we
right?
communicated via walkie-talkie and occasionally through text. And it was okay at first. And then the behavior, then it just really wasn't okay.
Yeah, which
It
is why they
was
didn't want you
up,
there, Amber.
down. He'd be mad at me. Then he was wanting a hug. He cried a lot. And then he...
You had no business being there
wanted
during
to
that
have
period of
sex
time.
a lot.
He
like,
did
which
not
is
want to have
just not
sex. You're
our thing
lying.
at all.
That's a lie. He did not want to have sex.
And it was just like that. It was just up, down, mood. And it was like I felt like I constantly was catering to the mood. That whatever he was going
You
through at
had
the time, I was
no
just trying to
business being
adapt
there.
and kind of roll with it and provide support. I was taking his blood pressure. I was on a schedule and
She was
constant
taking his blood
communication with the
pressure.
nurses about delivering the meds, giving him his meds at a certain time. I was just trying to take care of him. And a few days in, I guess the effects of the detox really started to change. And it went from this like erratic behavior up and down to just really down or mad. He would burst into anger at me, yelling at me. I crossed the table. I walked away from it at the table. I crossed the table in a certain way. And he screamed at me about that and tried to overturn this table. Luckily, it was bolted down to the deck. But I remember him shaking it and screaming. And at different point, he was really calm and sweet. And
It wasn't his job to be
thanking
sweet
me.
to you,
And
Amber. He was
then
sick.
Another, he looked like he was balancing out, and we had a conversation, and he was saying he wanted to quit the detox, and he couldn't do it anymore. And I was trying to find the language to encourage him. I was trying to remind him how much he wanted that, how much he had told me he wanted that, how much I was reminding him, he told me all the time, I saved his life and he wouldn't be doing this without me. And I was telling him these things, and I was, at one point in our conversations, I told him about how...
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Please try to continue without what you said, please.
I said something to him, and he got so angry at me, he slapped me across the face. But he did it like while crying. It was the weirdest thing. He was crying, saying no woman had ever embarrassed him like that. No woman had ever made him feel like that. I heard that for the rest of the trip too. Just
Look at him.
And
He is
I
being abused right here
bad.
in front of the
feel
whole
bad.
world.
Still feel
This-
bad.
This
But,
woman
didn't want to
is
make him
abusing
feel
that
embarrassed.
human.
That's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah, sure you did. It's what you
Just
want to do
because,
even
oh my God,
now,
I don't know how
Amber.
to detox someone, I don't know how to help them through that, and I shouldn't.
Then why were you on the island? Nobody
shouldn't
wanted
have
you
been
there and you
I
demanded
don't-
it.
Why were you there?
because he asked me to.
Bull. He said he
And I
didn't.
didn't know that was a phenomenally dumb idea. I don't know
Kipper
why
told you
anyone-
it was a phenomenally dumb idea. He
I don't know
told you
why
you didn't
the
need to be
doctors
there.
and nurses didn't tell me not to. I didn't.
They did tell you not to. Look at the look of
I had
incredulity
no
on his
idea
face.
what that
He's like,
was
of
gonna
course
look
we
like or
told
be
you not
like."
to be there.
And it was hell. We're on an island. I'm trying to take care of him, and he was hallucinating. And
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
And
Screaming
here's
at me.
Here's
things
another
that
point
I
as
said
well.
when I didn't say any. I hadn't said anything. I would.
During alcohol withdrawal or benzodiazepine withdrawal, you can get this hallucination problem, right? It's not typical in the withdrawal of opiates, the hallucination stuff. It's not typical with opiates, heroin and whatnot. The withdrawal is in the immediate acute phase. The withdrawal is a physical withdrawal. It severely affects the digestive system. There's a lot of sweating. People are either really hot or really cold, but regardless of whether they're hot or cold, they're just buckets of sweat. and then at about day 3, 4, and 5, when the physical symptoms, the diarrhea, the vomiting, whatnot, when that peaks and it's at its highest for about 24 hours, when it's at its highest, then as it begins to go down, then comes the mood disruption, and it's overwhelmingly sadness. It's experienced as sadness, a profound sense of grief, feeling guilty, and all of those are things that we traditionally associate with major depressive disorder. And so it's that super low serotonin. The serotonin goes down really low, and that's when you start having these feelings of guilt and the feeling that, something bad is about to happen. It's not, but you get this weird sensation, this weird feeling that everything is bad and everything's broken down and there's no hope, and it's a very dark place. When your serotonin drops, it's a really dark place to be in. A lot of people that use ecstasy, they've experienced this phenomenon where they take a high dose of ecstasy, they get really super duper high, and then in the week after that, they're just rock bottom depressed. Like they can't move. You hear people say that every muscle is sore. So these neurotransmitters that make it possible to have a healthy emotional life, they're not just facilitating emotional response, but they have a great deal to do with movement as well, the way your muscles work. Dopamine can interfere with your ability to walk, to make a normal stride with your legs. You think about Parkinson's and the movement in Parkinson's, the movement disorder. That's related to dopamine, but dopamine is also the neurotransmitter that gives us pleasure, a intense feeling of pleasure. Serotonin just gives us this feeling of well-being, that we're calm and we feel satisfaction and that life is, generally good. So as you go through this opiate withdrawal and the acute phases begin to wane, then comes this, just hurricane of mood problems. I'm trying to remember. Not anger. As soon as I say this, I'm going to remember somebody at some point. Not so much anger in the protracted withdrawal period. And the protracted withdrawal period is typically that period of time where the mood is trying to acclimate. It just seems like to me, all the people that I've seen or the books that I've read, just seems like it's typically notable for that deep, deep depression and this overwhelming sense of hopelessness. Not so much anger. Now, the anger is definitely prominent. It's definitely there in the acute withdrawal period. During the first 5 to 7 days, there's anger. Well, there's a lot of anger. There's anger for a lot of things. They get angry because they want the drug. They get angry. And to be clear, it's their body that's screaming for the drug. The body is trying to propel the person to secure the drug because they need it, because the body needs it. And so, they're angry because they're being denied the drug. Part of what they experience in withdrawal is what do they call it? Periodic limb, PLMD, periodic limb movement disorder. Part of that is they'll experience PLMD, which is where their leg is kicking or they have to keep moving. That makes them angry because they're very weary. They're really weary, fatigued. They want to sleep, because when you're sick, you want to sleep, right? But in withdrawal, there's no sleeping because you're having this muscle movement problem that you see like in Parkinson's or restless leg syndrome. And so they're very tired. They're very sick to their stomach, but then they're also, their body is saying, oh, get up and move, walk around. And so it's turmoil. It won't kill you. Alcohol withdrawal will kill you. Opiate withdrawal won't kill you, but you'll wish you were dead because it's just a storm, an internal storm where your brain and your mood and your muscles, your system just is all over the place. So what she's describing doesn't match the actual science of withdrawal and what people experience. So why then when I had that realization, I thought, why would she lie? And why would she say things like, oh, I felt so bad for this human. I felt so bad for this person. That's actually what she says. She says this person and she says this human, both in response to the turmoil, the emotional firestorm that Johnny Depp experienced when he was trying to detox. And you saw the look on his face when she's saying, well, Dr. Kipper and the nurses should have told me. They did. They told her he doesn't need you around. When we go through this, he needs to have professional medical people there with him that are trained in withdrawal and how to soothe them, how to calm some of these very difficult symptoms that they're going to experience. And then once he's finished with the detoxification period, once he's finished with that, then he's going to need intensive daily contact with mental health expert to get him to engage in things like taking a walk, going out in the sunshine, eating the type of foods that would promote the body to release more serotonin and dopamine. This is a difficult process to go through. She's not describing the science, even though she's claiming she was there firsthand, saw it. They actually had to abandon their plan. I think she was exacerbating his physiological condition with all of her bullshit. I think that's why the plan changed and they got her off the island and put her in a little bungalow at a hotel so he could then actually get real treatment and have professionals there that were there to help him just get her the hell out of the way. But notice she makes it all about her and her girls and how she needed attention and needed help because she just wasn't doing well at all. I believe that she added this story to inflict further abuse on Johnny Depp. I think that's the whole reason that she added this to her testimony, because she's abusive.
We tell him, Johnny,
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Well, I think in the context, Your Honor, it's not offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted.
What's it for?
It's just telling the context of,
I'll sustain the objection.
please continue and just say what he says and what he did and what your observations were.
he was accusing me of having a man in the house with me. We were in a single, in a cabin. It's basically one room.
You probably did have a man with you, Amber. Can we just be fair?
Hide, really? I mean, there's a closet and a bathroom. And he, at one point, told me that I was hiding somebody in the house. Another point, he was communicating with someone not in the room. It would yell at me and then yell at someone else. It wasn't there. And I tried to...
He is being abused right now. Look at him. Look at the distress that he's in.
It was terrifying.
Because this is all a lie.
Strange.
What she's saying is a lie. And he has no recourse but to sit there and be exposed to this. It's heartbreaking. This is what an abuser is.
After you left Bahamas and finished with the detox there, where did you go from there?
We, meaning Debbie Lloyd, Dr. Kipper, and I and Johnny, we flew back to LA, and he was going back and forth between saying he wasn't going to continue to, he was committed. It was back and forth. Everything was up, down, erratic, like changing every second. And we got to LA, and Debbie and Kipper communicated with me. I won't say what they said, but I decided it would be
They said, get away
probably
from him. You're
in
making it
everyone's best
worse.
interest if I went away to a hotel.
Yeah, it was in Johnny's best interest if you were not
Johnny,
around,
Put
because you're the abuser.
me up in this room in this hotel while he finished the process of detox in LA, and I had my friends
Oh,
out.
Teresa,
with my
hi. I hope
girlfriends
you're
there to
feeling
support me,
okay.
as per usual.
Hey, Cindy Sue.
So let's, Michelle, can you pull up 272?
Oh,
please?
Allie, it's so hard to take, isn't it? And we're watching her. The only access that she has is
after you
right
go through
here. We're
terms of
watching her
LA,
emotionally manipulate him
did
right now.
Mr. Depp communicate
Yeah, she
with
wants to
you
hurt him. I believe that, Allie.
by text while you were apart, while he was finishing the detox?
Yes, he did.
Your Honor, I'd like to move the admission of 272.
Any
defendant's
objection?
Yes, Your Honor, to the first message. Excuse me, Your Honor, to the
You
second.
mean the response?
Right.
While we're thinking about it, will you guys do a thumbs up to
Present
try to
sense,
help my
impression, but I'm understanding your
video
Honor's
get
rulings on
shared by
that.
YouTube?
So
Do you want to redact it?
can we
That's fine.
redact that second message?
Did you see that? This is one of those points that I wanted to. Okay, you see how she's really studying the jury, right? I mean, she's looking, and she hates them, and I think she hates them because they are not paying any attention to her. Also, we know now that some of the jurors would fall asleep when she was on the stand. They didn't believe her. Now, and so look at that. Look how mad she is right now looking at them like, well, they're not even watching me. They're not even paying attention to me. It's because you're not telling the truth. I don't remember how far to go back. Let's try this and see if that'll get us there.
And it's just present sense of impression, but I'm understanding your Honor's
Yeah.
rulings on that.
Okay.
So
Do you want to redact it?
can we
That's fine.
redact that second message?
Did you see her roll her eyes? Let me slow this down. I'm going to go back to 22 right here. Watch her roll her eyes after she looks at the jury. I think she's rolling her eyes because they don't care. I think they're not listening. They're not paying attention. I think they don't care. Watch her roll her eyes. It's so funny. I need to make it quiet because it's drive you crazy. God, she's so cold, isn't she? Now she's going to look over at the jury to see what they're doing. Go ahead, look, girl. You know you want to. Now she's looking at all of them, see if she's got it, if any, and watch her roll her eyes. Watch. Man, are those some cold eyes? She scares me. She scares me. She's thinking, I wonder if I could throw something at that sleeping sucker. Wonder what I've got that I might throw. Maybe I could yell at them. I bet Johnny paid them off. That's what she's thinking right now. They don't believe you, Amber. You just called your husband this human and this person. They're not buying your story. Isn't it fascinating to watch in slow motion? You can see so much when you slow down what they're saying and thinking.
2 is in evidence, and we will publish.
But she's got some cold, cruel eyes. That's for damn
I'm going
sure.
to show you now what is Defendant's Exhibit 272, and this is on August 20, 2014. It's a text message from Mr. Depp to you. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
This
And just
this
so that we
text
can
just looks
highlight here,
placating to me. It just looks like he's trying to
telling you,
placate
just
her.
to let you know that I'm fine, my angel. I miss you, of course, but this was the right thing to do to speed up the
And it didn't
process.
speed up the
I love you
process. I
more
think
than
they
life.
couldn't do
Yours,
anything with
Steve.
her
You see that?
around. I think she was exacerbating
So
his
what, if
discomfort.
any, expressions was Mr. Depp giving you at this point that he was angry with you ever having to help participate with the detox or to be on the island or anything along that
Help
line?
with the detox.
Objection form.
Help
form.
participate. Oh my
I'll allow
God.
it, but just for trying to keep the record clear, 272 has already been entered into evidence without that redactions, and there wasn't any objection. So I would wish if I could have both sides to keep track of their evidence. It's not my job to keep this.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just
Man,
have
I
a
feel
note
so
to that
sorry for
effect,
him.
so-
Okay, so 272 is in evidence without, you can clear the redaction. And keep
These
publishing it.
people are even getting under
It's
penny
really
skin.
Party's responsibility to take care of the record.
Feel really
not
bad
mine.
for
My,
her.
my apologies on that one, Your Honor.
Yeah, be quiet, Elaine. Just hush.
All right.
And Amber, quit staring at the jury. It's creepy.
All right, and I overruled the objection, so she can answer the question.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, can you remind me what the question was?
Yes,
That's fair.
that's fair. I said, what, if anything, did Mr. Depp say about that you were torturing him on the island and he didn't want you there?
Very confusing for me to hear that, because even though he was hallucinating and angry at me at various moments when he would have these kind of episodes, I did nothing but try to take care of him.
Oh, you're such an
Um,
angel. Now bite your
What a
lip.
nurse.
I know where you
did my
picked that
best
little
to support him,
mannerism up at.
and he thanked me. He thanked my mom. He thanked my dad.
Why? They were
And
using
told me, of
pills.
course, I saved
They
his
were
life.
addicted, Amber. So what are you talking about? They
That
thanked your mom and
He wouldn't be
dad.
able to make this change without me,
Good God.
and that this process was horrible and hard on him and us and me. But that he was
Nobody
thankful that I was
cares
there
if it
for
was
him.
hard on you, Amber. It wasn't about you. If you hadn't come in his life, he would never have used them. Or it'd be unlikely
We
that he
can
would have used
take
them.
this down now, Michelle. Thank you. And,
Man, it's so hard to listen
I'm gonna
to.
take you up to
It's the
September,
Handmaid's Tale,
October
Caddy.
of 2014.
Yeah, it's an awful
Do you
outfit. It's too
remember
small for her.
filming Magic Mike 2 in that time frame?
Yes, I do.
And what, if any, connections did you have with Mr. Depp in that time frame?
Well, I bargained with him about me doing the role. He told me he would call the actors. It was a mostly male cast, but I bargained with him.
Yeah,
Objection,
we
Your Honor,
watched
there's
Magic Mike.
Don't say what you said, just say what he said, okay?
Mhm. He reluctantly kind of agreed to me working on this movie or taking a job. He was filming a different movie in London at the time. I wasn't going to play a sexualized character. I wore no makeup or minimal makeup in the movie. No sexy clothing. No kissing scenes. No sex scenes. So I went and did that film in October of 2014 in Georgia, while he finished his movie in London. And then at some point he came out to pick me up in Georgia and was there for my last day or two of filming.
I'm going to ask you to turn to, Michelle, can you bring up 310, please? Defendants 310. Did you have communications with Mr. Depp about auditioning for another role in this time frame?
Objection, Your Honor. I'm going to object to the exhibit as hearsay.
I'm not sure who's in the text exchange.
It is a text exchange, Your Honor, so, but the green is Mr. Depp. And the one I'm most focused on is on the second page, Your Honor, the top.
The green bubble on the second page?
Yes.
All right, so just that text?
Based on Your Honor's rulings, yes.
Any objection to that text?
No, thank you, Your
Okay,
Honor.
if we can get that redacted.
God,
While that's
that's
being
so
redacted,
creepy the way she
asking,
looks at the
what, if any,
jurors, isn't it?
Anything was Mr. Depp saying to you in
So
this
creepy.
time frame?
She's a
we're
creepy
talking
girl.
In November 2014, about you not working anymore or not taking on any more work or auditioning?
Objection, Your Honor. Compound.
They're all the
I'm
same
leading.
subset.
Overruled, I'll allow it.
Thank you.
Johnny was angry with me for working.
For being a hoe?
I'd finished my
Sorry,
job and
y'all.
I needed
That
to
just, I blurted.
eventually find another job, meaning
I try
moving.
really hard not to blurt,
work
but
on,
sometimes
and
I lose the battle.
He was furious at me for
For being a hoe.
like we call them sides. They're just pieces of an audition, pages.
Your side guy, or were you
And
the
he
side
found
gal?
Something that had been sent to me to consider auditioning for, and he blew up at me for. Yeah, I think what he said to me is that I didn't tell him, that I didn't ask him, and that because he didn't know about that audition that I hadn't done yet, that I had been hiding it, and was furious at me. I ended up not doing that audition, I believe. Well, there was a few, one or two in that time that I did I did audition for, and one or two that I didn't.
Going to ask you now to take a look at what is Defendant's Exhibit 310. Do you recognize this email from Mr. Depp?
Yes, it's a text.
Your Honor, I'm going to move for the admission
It's in evidence, 310.
Oh, okay.
It's evidence with
Thank you.
redactions, so I published it.
Please tell the jury about this text and the context.
This was Johnny's response to me apologizing for having an audition.
Thank you. All right, now I'm going to stay in November of 2014. And did there come a time that Mr. Depp told you that he understood that you were not going to accept any more jobs, that you were going to stop working?
Well, eyes were cast when I walked into a room, and I believe those were my own decisions. Couldn't sustain seeing her and be in the relationship with Johnny, and I chose Johnny. Eventually, Dr. Kipper introduced me to his close friend, Dr. Cowan. And I met with Dr. Cowan and agreed to let them share communication about my care, my treatment, both what I said to Cowan and what I said to Dr. Kipper, who had become my physician as well. He also put a nurse on me that would be my travel companion, and that travel companion would keep tabs on me and report to Dr. Kipper, who reported everything to Johnny.
Objection.
Okay, no,
Calls for
no. Dr. Kipper did not report everything to Johnny unless you signed documents that said that Dr. Kipper could report to Johnny about your physical condition. But what I am actually most interested in is why Amber needed a nurse traveling with her and a mental health professional that was reporting directly to her physician. What do you think? If you go by how we know they helped Johnny Depp, there was Dr. Kipper, he had his mental health professional, and then he had a nurse that traveled with him to administer medications to get him through the withdrawal period and the maintenance, correct? To get him off of substances in a healthy way that he could continue to function, correct? So I want you guys to now just open your mind and think for a moment, what is it about Amber that Amber required a physician talking to a mental health professional, talking to the nurse that is having daily contact with her and traveling with her? What do we know now that Amber must have been going through? Anybody want to guess? Come on, somebody take a guess. Why do you guys think that Amber had a traveling nurse? And I mean, she had like 2 or 3 different mental health professionals, which tells me she had her private therapist, she had her marriage therapist, but what's this third one? What was their role? What's their specialty? Anybody want to like take a guess? Mushroom allergies? Yin yang, you blurted. It's okay. You're among friends. What do you think? What do you think, peeps? I'm not saying it. Somebody else got to say it. Mandy says drugs. What about drugs? Why did she need a nurse traveling with her? Catty Girl says, is she a drug addict? Were they trying to detox Amber? Inquiring minds. Yeah? Inquiring minds want to know. To monitor her breathing. What are you talking about? Sorry about that. Withdrawal. Okay. It certainly looks suspicious, doesn't it? I mean, it does seem that might have been, yeah. All right, y'all. So I made my chest feel funny. Hold on. All right. Okay. So, I do think, and there's more, that if you go back through her direct testimony as well as the cross-ex and the rebuttal, there's so many potential videos to be made. There's so much to point out, like this one particular thing. The story about Johnny doubling up on medications when he was during a period of maintenance where they were just holding him constant so he could finish his movie before going into withdrawals. They would have, I don't think I said this a while ago. I think when Kipper agreed to do all this, he probably said to Johnny, you know, how much are you taking? Of course, they would have tested urine, but what are you taking? And then he probably would have reduced that dose by maybe 10%, maybe a little more, for the maintenance period while he was filming. But that 10% drop would not have been noticeable. He would not have noticed it. It wouldn't have been enough to have an effect on him. The emotional turmoil would have begun after he had begun the withdrawal phase. So what was the point of her telling such a blatant lie about this person, this human? What would be the reason that she would have for telling this horrendous lie on the stand? And you can see the consternation in Johnny's face. And he's looking at Ben Chu like, how can she say that? How can she just say bald-faced lies, things that just absolutely did not happen? And she does. She says that nobody told her that she shouldn't be there during his detox. But Kipper and the nurse both said, no, they told her that she did not need to be there. And she insisted that she be there. Why include that? It had nothing to do with defamation case. Nothing. Why include it? Because it was an opportunity to inflict more abuse on Johnny Depp. It was an opportunity to commit further slander and defamation against him in the eyes of the world. She was hell-bent on presenting a picture of Johnny Depp in a way that everybody's opinion of him as a good guy, a nice guy, a great actor, that all of that would be blown to hell. And for no way would it benefit her. She would get absolutely nothing out of it if the world stopped loving Johnny Depp. If the world stops loving Johnny Depp, she doesn't benefit in the least. Why did she do it? Because she likes it. She wants vengeance. She wants to hurt him. And now she's going on Savannah Guthrie's channel or show and repeating the original slander. I spoke truth to power. No, you didn't, Amber. You lied. You are the abuser, and you're going to get sued again because you're dumb. All right. I'm done. She is victim blaming, victim shaming, victim targeting. She's just horrendous human being in my opinion. All right, everybody. Thank y'all so much for being here and listening to me talk. I'm just really frustrated and angry that this woman is she's so capable of compartmentalizing so that she can get up on that stand and say things like this that the whole world knows is a lie. It's so hard to watch. The indignation that you feel for the person that she's targeting. How many other people have had to live through something like this? And they'll say, you tell who you want to. Nobody's ever going to believe that I'm that person. Nobody's going to believe you. She said those words to Johnny herself. So, these abusers, they will very often themselves stand up and say, I'm a victim. Look at what this person did to me. And look at what this person did to me. And they're abusers and they're horrible and they're evil. But then when you watch, you're like, that person's not being abusive. The only person being abusive is the person sitting there screaming and yelling, I'm a victim. Amber's a perfect example of that. she's pointing fingers at everyone, that they're all abusers, and she's the biggest victim of them all. Somebody protect me. And sadly, she's not the only one of these monsters out in the world. They're all over the place. All right. I'm done. Oh, Teresa, how are you feeling? It is defamation of that. She said the same words. She said, I spoke truth to power, and the jury found that she was lying. She was not speaking truth. Remember to stick thumbs up on your way out and leave comments. You're a sweetheart, Teresa. Thank you. But are you feeling okay? I am. Oh, the surgery is next Thursday. Okay. All right. Well, good. I'm glad, though, that you're having a good day today, Teresa. It's wonderful. Keep up the great work. I will ask about you next Thursday, okay? In fact, we'll all hashtag think of Teresa next Thursday. Thursday is going to everybody think of Teresa Day. Okay. All right, you guys. I do have something that I have to go do at 3 o'clock, so I've got to turn this off and end this. Hey, Arkansas White Dove, how you doing? So great to see you here. Not that everybody in Arkansas talks like that, but, you know, the people I knew from Arkansas talk like that. Okay, y'all are awesome. I appreciate you more than you know. Will you please help my YouTube channel by doing a thumbs up and leaving a little comment under the video? Like, even if you just put a little comment like, hey, y'all, just type in, hey, y'all, and that's all you got to do. All right. Hey, y'all. You spell y'all, Y-A-L-L. I've seen people try to spell it Y-A''LL. That's not it. It's Y''ALL. It's a shortened form of you all. So the apostrophe takes out the O and the U. So it's, hey, y'all, Y''ALL. And that is all you have to do to make this little YouTube video go viral. All right. Y'all have a great day. Thanks so much for helping me. I appreciate it. I will return.